So what do you think you do if there's a single step and you're subtracting a number? How would you get it to the other side? Add it, right. And what property allows you to do that? Two properties. Inverse operation of subtraction is addition, and the other one is?
Inverse operation.
Nope, something of equality.
Subtraction.
The other one, addition. Addition property of equality. By the way, all right, example number 1. Going back to like a simple example, let's say we have x minus 3 equals 7. Now, what if, say, Johnny came up and said, oh, Mr. Underwood, the answer is 4. What's wrong with his solution? I mean, it looks like 4. You have a minus 3 and a 7. Okay, yeah, he did show work, good. We need to add the constant on the variable side to both sides, meaning we're going to add 3 to both sides. Now, again, the reason we're allowed to do that, we can add the same number to both sides based on the addition property of equality, and the minus 3 plus 3 cancels itself out because of the inverse operation of subtraction, which is why we spent so much time on those properties. Hopefully it's settled in your brains now that it just becomes second nature. So 7 plus 3 is 10. And if you wanted to show your work or check your work, you could just plug 10 back in for x. So you'd have 10 minus 3. Does that equal 7? Yes, it does, right? So we can check that one off. Yes. Example 2, let's go back to it. I like using the fraction ones. Let's do 5/4, negative 5/4 plus x plus let's see, let's do a different one. C equals 3/8, negative 3/8. And directions again are to solve. Okay, so what does step 1 tell us to do? It says to add constant on variable to both sides. What is the constant on the side of the variable? Yep, so we're going to add it. Now we'll cancel it out. Whoops. So C is going to be equal to negative 3/8. Let's see if I can go down. Plus 5/4. Okay, so what did you say the common denominator was? Okay, the 5/4 will become 10/8 because you multiply it by 2 over 2. Okay, so what is negative 3/8 plus 10/8? So you're just going to write. You're just going to negative 3 plus 10, do the numerator. The denominator stays the same. It's still going to be 8. Negative 3 plus 10 is the same as 10 minus 3, which is just 7. So yeah, there is a little bit to a single step equation, even though it's single step. You know, you've got to know how to add fractions. You've got to know how to add decimals. You've got to know, for example, the next example, how to subtract or add a negative number. Or, yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to have 13, let's say 1.3. 1.3 is equal to y minus negative 2.4. Now this is a single step subtraction because a number is being subtracted. Now this one looks weird, but you're still going to add a constant on the variable side to both sides. It would not. Okay? Because what is the constant on the variable side? What, let me ask you guys, just answer my question. What is the constant that's being subtracted on the variable side? Negative 2.4. We're still just going to add that actual number. So we are adding negative 2.4 to both sides. Again, I know it looks confusing, but if you just actually follow what the step tells you to do, you're just adding this constant to both sides, whether it be negative or positive, okay? So we will be adding Now, the other way to do the problem, which is equally valid, just change that to plus, right? It's y plus 2.4 and then subtract it. But if you think about it, if you're subtracting the number, it's the same as adding the negative. So now we've done that, what is 1.3 plus negative 2.4?
Negative 1.1.
Negative 1.1, good. And since I added it, it should cancel it out. And that's going to be equal to y. And if we use the symmetric property, we can just reverse it. Y equals negative 1.1. Okay? And again, if you wanted to, you could plug negative 1.1 in. Let's do it for this one because some of you probably still wondering how this works. If I plug in negative 1.1 for y, which I'm going to do right there, let's see if this works out. Negative 1.1 minus negative 2.4. So the way this will be, it'll be 1.3. Does it equal negative 1.1 plus 2.4, which does give you 1.3. That will become a plus, so it does work. Do we need another one? I think we do at least need one. Okay, square root. Let's just do b equals I didn't mean to write b, sorry. B minus the square root of 10, that's fine, is equal to, let's do the square root of 10. This time we won't do a number. If it was 4, you wouldn't simplify it, right? It'd just be 4 plus radical 10. You can't combine them, but let's do this one. So first of all, what are you going to add to both sides? Good. You're going to add the constant on the variable side to both sides. Now this one isn't too complicated. Does anybody know what the square root of 10 plus the square root of 10 is? I'll give you a hint. It's not the square root of 20. How many square root of 10s do you have?
2 square root of 10.
There you go. The final answer is 2 square root of 10. Remember, it's like adding basketballs. If you have 2 of them, you just write 2b, right? Or 2 basketballs. In this case, you have 2 square root of 10. You're adding it twice, so that means you're multiplying it. If you added square root of 10 3 times, the answer would be 3 square root of 10.
Well, if you had 20